So hello everyone. So in this video, I'm going to discuss set J from our excellent simulator set XM. Untuk section A, we have 3 questions. So question 1, the probability of getting a head when we toss a bias coin once adalah 0.7 and the coin is tossed 3 times. So we need to first construct a tree diagram. Itu arahan dalam soalan. So to construct a tree diagram, please remember what you should do adalah kita akan ada branches. This is untuk the first toss. So in the first toss, I'm going to get it's either head ataupun tail. But please remember, since this is a bias coin, so probability of getting a head adalah 0.7. Sudah diberitahu dalam soalan. And hence here probability-nya adalah 0.3. So untuk the second toss, now I'm going to have 2 possibilities daripada yang dapat head tadi. I can get another head ataupun tail. Daripada tail tadi pun, I can get another head ataupun tail. So, that is the second toss. So, apa probability-nya di sini? So, dia dah bagi tahu tadi, probability untuk dapat head adalah 0.7. Kita gunakan sahaja nilai yang sama. So, 0.7 here. This is 0.3. This is 0.7. And this is 0.3. Seterusnya, untuk toss yang kali ketiga, the third time. So, I'm going to get either head atau tail. Di sini juga akan dapat head atau tail. Di sini akan dapat head atau tail. Di sini juga akan dapat head ataupun tail. Okay, so that is the result of my third time tossing the bias coin. So again, di sini adalah 0.7, 0.3, 0.7, 0.3, 0.7, 0.3, 0.7, and 0.3. So one thing that I would like to remind you adalah when the question asks you to construct a tree diagram, please take note that your labeling must be completed. Apa maksud complete? Janganlah tinggalkan just because you already know that the probability here adalah 0.3, you pun decide, tak payah tulis lah, tak penting. Okay? Macam, oh, aku dah tahu benda tu. So, please do not. Make sure you label completely, meaning you have to write here 0.7 and 0.3. So, now let's take a look at question B. The question asks me to find the probability that the number of heads is more than the number of tails. So, please take note here. Head must be more than tail. So, since we toss 3 times, okay, kita tahu kita akan ada 3 outcome lah. Sama ada contoh head, 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 ataupun head, head, tail, ataupun head, tail, tail, dan sebagainya. You can continue listing. Tapi yang saya nak you nampak adalah bilangan total mesti 3. Sama ada 3 head, 3 tail, ataupun 2 head, 1 tail, dan seterusnya. Okay, so 2 head, 1 tail can also come in this form. Tail, head, head. That is still counted as 1 tail and 2 heads. So, bila soalan kata number of heads is more than the number of tail, apa yang kita tahu adalah kita akan ambil, tak bolehlah ambil 1 head, 2 tail because then head is less than tail. So, kita akan ambil sama ada 2 heads ataupun 3 heads. Okay, tak boleh ambil 1 head, tak boleh ambil tiada head langsung. So, from there, I know that I need to refer to this one. Sebab this one adalah head, head, head. Maksudnya betul lah head 3 tail 0. And then this one adalah head, head, tail. Juga kita akan ambil. And then this one adalah head, tail, head. And next kita tak akan ambil sebab di sini I have head, tail, tail. Okay, so head, tail, tail. This one is rejected. Seterusnya I have tail, head, head. This is counted as well. Seterusnya I have tail, head, tail. This is not counted. And then tail, tail, head. This is not counted. And then I have tail, tail, tail. This is also rejected. So the only ones that I'm going to calculate the probability here adalah this one. Okay, I'm going to circle that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sahaja benda daripada 8 possible outcome kat situ. Okay, so untuk mencari jawapan B, so the answer to question B will be probability that head is more than tail. So that is actually probability that you get head, head, head. Plus the probability that you get, salin lah yang tu, head, head, tail. Tambah probability that you get head, tail, head. Ditambahkan dengan probability you get tail, head, head. So, kita ada 4 sahaja benda. And how do I calculate these probabilities? Please remember, we are going to multiply along the branches. So, yang saya highlight tu saya akan darabkan lah. 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. Okay, so that will be the first one here. 0.7 times 0.7 times 0.7. And then di sini ditambahkan dengan probability getting head adalah 0.7, 0.7, 0.3 plus 0.7, 0.3, 0.7 plus, and untuk yang terakhir sekali I'm going to get 0.3 dahulu times 0.7 times 0.7. So you can calculate the value here. The value that you are going to get after you calculate will be 0.784. Okay, so settle untuk soalan B. Now let's take a look at question C. The question asks you to find the probability that all the outcomes are the same. So yang mana outcomes yang sama, yang mana jawapannya adalah yang pertama sekali dan yang terakhir sekali. Di sini dan di sini. Kenapa? Sebab dia nak ketiga-tiga result daripada tiga toss yang kita buat tu, all must be the same. So, cannot take head, head, tail. Sebab dua head sama, tapi yang ketiga dah tak sama. And so on untuk yang selain daripada yang pertama dan yang terakhir. So, this is actually probability that all same. Meaning what you get here adalah probability you get head, head, head. Ditambahkan dengan probability you get tail, tail, tail. So, probability head, head, head. Bila kita kira, kita tahu this one will become 0.7, 0.7, 0.7 plus probability tail, tail, tail will be 0.3, 0.3 and 0.3. And your answer will be 0.37. Next, let's take a look at question 2. In question 2, we are given the discrete random variable x has the following probability distribution. Okay, so from this probability distribution, kita tahu x mesti 0, 2, 4 dan 6 sahaja. So, the question asks you to show that this random variable is a discrete random variable. So, how do we answer this one? The method that we are going to use adalah this concept. We are going to use that we know that the summation from x is equal to 0 until x is equal to 6 of our probability x is equal to x, nilainya everything must be equal to 1. So, what can we do here? You can use table dahulu, tak ada masalah. You boleh kira manually pun tiada masalah. So, if you ask me, I'm going to use a table. So, if you take a look here, saya telah pun buat my probability distribution table yang mana my x will be 0, 2, 4 and 6. So, the probability, if you substitute nilai x ke dalam that formula untuk probability x is equal to x, you are going to get this value. Yang mana, if you can't believe me, then what you can do adalah please add up this row. The value will be equal to 1. Okay, so apa yang kita akan buat di sini adalah kita akan, since I've already calculated di belakang, saya tak tunjuklah jalan kerjanya. Okay, tapi saya tahu saya kena dapatkan nilai mesti sama dengan 1. So, if I add up all this, okay, so the probability that x is equal to x that I got here will be 1 over 26 plus 1 over 26 plus 7 over 26 plus 17 over 26. So that is equal to 26 over 26 and that is equal to 1. So di sini I have already shown that this is a discrete random variable. So, untuk soalan B, we need to find the probability that x is greater than or equal to 3. Untuk menjawab soalan ini, what we need to do is, please remember, probability that x is greater than 3. Sorry, tak ada equal ya. Saya tersilap sebut tadi. So, please remember, this is a discrete random variable. What we can do adalah, please remember, when 3 is not included, dia akan move on kepada next one lah, iaitu probability that x is greater than or equal to 4. So, daripada sini, by using the definition, I know that this will be the probability that x is equal to 4 plus untuk x is equal to 5, kosong probability-nya. So, kita terus pergi pada next one iaitu probability x is equal to 6. Since I've already calculated in the table, terus ambil nilai. So, 7 over 26 plus 17 over 26, that is 24 over 26. Yang mana kita boleh simplify menjadi 12 over 13. So that is the answer. Next, let's take a look at question C. We need to calculate expected value of x as well as variance of x. So if you recall, I did mention previously in my class, most of my tutorial class saya ada mention benda ni untuk mengira expected value of x dan juga variance. So EX as well as expected value of x square can be calculated using your table. So kalau dah buat table macam saya, then kita boleh buat apa? Kita boleh just tambah another row untuk expected value of x. So this is expectation of x. Nilai dia akan dapat daripada mana? I'm going to multiply these two rows. Okay, and apa yang saya akan dapat adalah seperti berikut. Yang mana now I've multiplied 0 and 1 over 26 and so on. So the value that I get here is actually, this is expected value of x is equal to 0 plus 1 over 13 plus 14 over 13 plus 51 over 13. And that should be equal to, this will be my answer next to the table. So my answer is 66 over 13. So in this case, don't worry, you are going to get still full mark. Because why? The concept that I use here is actually the expected value of x is equal to the summation of, okay, x multiplied by probability x is equal to x. From x yang pertama sehingga x yang terakhir lah. So in this case, from x is equal to 0 until x is equal to 6. So from there, I've got the answer, iaitu 66 over 13, and I can just leave that as my answer. Next, what about untuk mencari expected value of x square? Okay, so to calculate that, we can also use another row. Bezanya now what we are going to do is, I'm going to use a different colored pen. Okay, so we are going to put square on the values of x and then multiply with the probability of x is equal to x, and I will get the last row here, yang mana untuk last row, expected value of x square adalah 0 plus 2 over 13 plus 56 over 13 plus 306 over 13, yang mana that will give me the value here should be equal to 28. Okay, so again, in this case, you don't have to worry, this is going to give you full mark untuk your calculation. Kenapa kita kena kira expected value of x square? Dengan cara letak kuasa 2 tu, sebab please remember definition untuk expected value of x square is actually equal to the summation of x square times probability x is equal to x. Okay, daripada x is equal to 0 until x is equal to 6. So why do we need this value 28? Jawapannya adalah because to calculate the variance, we are going to have to use the formula yang mana variance of x is equal to expected value of x square minus with expected value of x bracket square. So we are going to just put in the value. Saya akan dapat 28 minus with, so my expected value of x adalah 66 over 13 square. So if you calculate this, you are going to get the answer is equal to 376 over 169. So that will be your variance untuk soalan nombor 2. Now let's take a look at question 3. Untuk question 3, past record shows that the probability a bowling player manages to score more than 100 points per match adalah 0.25. Okay, so from here we know that should be our probability. He plays 7 matches in a particular day, so that will be the number of trial, and he is considered to have won the match if he scores more than 100 points in a single match. So untuk soalan A, dia dah sebut di sini, state the binomial distribution when the bowling player win. So penekanannya adalah dia mesti win the match in a particular day. So apa yang kita akan buat adalah, to answer this question, I'm going to let X be the event yang mana dia akan score more than 100 points. Okay, and daripada sini, I can write that X follows a binomial distribution, and sudah diberitahu tadi, iaitu N is equal to 7, and the probability will be 0.25. So please remember, when you are defining here, please remember to actually define ini adalah untuk distribution sama ada dia win ataupun dia lose. So this is probability distribution untuk apabila dia win. So, untuk soalan next, please take note we have the word hence, meaning you have to use whatever you just wrote here just now. Okay, iaitu X follows a binomial distribution with 7 trial and probability of success adalah 0.25. What is the probability he lost more than 4 matches on that day? So, please take note, probability yang kita nak cari adalah dia lost more than 4 matches. So, apa yang kita kena buat di sini adalah, one thing that you need to remember, ni adalah probability win. So, if I can change that kepada Y, yang mana Y is still a binomial distribution with 7 trial. But now, probability of success saya akan jadi probability of losing the game, meaning getting less than 100 points. So, that will be 0.75. This is untuk dia lose. Okay, so why do I do this? Jawapannya adalah kita nak cari probability that dia lost. So, bila kita nak cari probability dia lost, untuk this question, I'm going to find probability that Y is greater than 4. Okay, kenapa? Because the question specifically sebut dia mesti lost more than 4 matches. Okay, so untuk cari probability Y greater than 4, now what can I do? I know that by using binomial, this tells me this is probability Y is greater than or equal to 5. Tetapi tak boleh dikira. Kenapa? Because here, my probability P is greater than 0.5. So, we need to change that. Okay, change that binomial kepada, this is actually probability that X, okay, greater than equal to akan jadi less than or equal to. 5 akan berubah menjadi 7 minus 2. 7 minus 5. That is 2. So, now dia adalah probability X less than or equal to 2, yang mana please take note the change of random variable di sini. From Y untuk lose, now dia jadi untuk dia win. Okay, so I can refer to this one lah now. Sebab tu ada perkataan hence, I need to use this one. Tetapi start dengan another one iaitu untuk lose. Macam nak cari, now I need to define that, yang mana I can rewrite this as, this is actually 1 minus the probability that X is greater than or equal to 3, and kita akan ambil sahaja 1 minus, baca daripada table, you are going to get the value is 0.2436, hence your answer untuk probability Y is greater than 4 is actually 0.7564. Okay, what about question B? So, untuk soalan B, dia kata find the mean and the variance for the number of lost matches for that day. So, untuk kita kira yang ini, please take note, dia nak mean and variance, mu as well as sigma square. Tetapi untuk lost matches, meaning you have to refer to which one, we are going to use this one. So, N saya 7, P saya adalah 0.75. Jadi, untuk kita menjawab soalan ini, to get my mean, so, mean iaitu mu is equal to N times P. That will be equal to 7 times 0.75. So, when you calculate, this actually gives you the value 5.25. And untuk mencari my variance, notationnya adalah sigma square. That is actually NPQ. So, please take note, NPQ actually stands for 7 times 0.75 times 0.25. So, the answer is 1.3125. Selesai untuk soalan nombor 3. Okay, now let's move on to section B. Yang mana untuk section B, we have 7 questions worth 75 marks. So, untuk soalan nombor 1, we are given fx is as follow. By using Newton-Raphson, so diberi penekanan di sini, you need to use Newton-Raphson method. Starting at x naught adalah 1.1. We need to find the root of fx. Make sure you give your answer up to 2 decimal places. So, in this case, we are going to go back to semester 1. Macam mana kita nak differentiate di sini. So, if given fx is equal to x minus 1 times square root of x plus 2, differentiating this require you to use u and v, meaning product rule lah di sini. So, if u adalah x minus 1, differentiating that will give me u prime, iaitu 1. Differentiating v will give me v prime, iaitu, ingat 1 over 1 over 2, salin balik square root di bawah, dalam salin balik, so square root x tambah 2. Now, macam mana kita nak masuk dalam formula? Ingat balik formula, start daripada V, berakhir dengan V prime. So, di sini mesti tambah sebab dia adalah produk rule. Substitute all that into your formula. You are going to get something like this because set X tambah 2 darab dengan 1, set X tambah 2 je lah. Yang lagi satu tu U darab V prime akan duduk atas dan bawah macam tu. So, now what can we do? Please remember we have been doing this since last semester. This is actually over 1. So, kita akan samakan penyebut. Multiply the denominator yang satu tu dengan 2 set X plus 2. You should get something like this. Yang mana 2 set X plus 2 set X plus 2 akan simplify. Yang mana bila dia simplify, kita akan dapat 2 times X plus 2 sahaja. Set akan hilang. Ditambahkan dengan X minus 1. Di bawah kita masih ada 2 times square root of X plus 2. Please remember, jangan sesuka hati potong 2 dengan 2. What we can do adalah expand. So, if you expand and simplify, di atas apa yang kita akan dapat adalah 3X tambah 3. Di bawah akan kekal sebagai 2 set X plus 2. Okay, so dari sini kita telah pun selesai. Belum jawapan akhir lagi. Yang mana itu hanya untuk mencari F prime X. Kenapa kita kena cari F prime X? Because we need to use Newton-Raphson. Yang mana you have to remember the formula untuk Newton-Raphson adalah Xn plus 1 is equal to Xn minus ke atas adalah F of Xn divided by F prime of Xn. Sebab tu kita mencari F prime X di sini. So, selesai di situ. Now, we are going to start with our Newton-Raphson method yang mana I'm going to substitute Fx and F prime X into my formula. And what I'm going to get adalah, we're going to get something like that. Yang mana I've changed all the X dalam Fx and F prime X menjadi Xn. So, now what we can do adalah you have pecahan dalam pecahan, simplify. So, kita kena ingat siapa yang akan bergerak naik atas. Jawapannya adalah dia ni naik atas. Duduk sebelah yang atas kali tu. So, bila kita susun semula, kita akan dapat seperti berikut. Okay, so you cannot simplify anymore untuk yang atas tu. So, tak perlulah expand. Kenapa? Because now we are going to start the iteration process untuk mencari our root. So, we are going to use this formula untuk proses Newton-Raphson kita. We have been told that our X naught will be equal to 1.1. So, using X naught is equal to 1.1, what we can do here adalah we are going to start. So, X naught adalah 1.1. Now, X yang pertama akan jadi substitute X naught ke dalam formula pada semua Xn ni tadi. Okay, so what you are going to get now adalah 1.1 minus 2 times 1.1 minus 1 times 1.1 plus 2 over 3 times 1.1 plus 3. So, kira sahajalah yang ni, tekan calculator and you should actually get X1 kita akan jadi bersamaan dengan 1.00159. So, untuk next step, kita akan ulang lagi proses yang sama. Yang mana now I'm going to find X2. X2 adalah X1 minus 2 times X1 minus 1 times X1 plus 2 over 3 times X1 plus 3. So, bila you kira, you akan dapat jawapan 1.00000042. Okay, so do we need to continue? You can continue, tak ada masalah. So, untuk next step, X yang ketiga, kita akan dapat X2 tolak 2 darab X2 tolak 1 darab X2 tambah 2 over 3 times X2 plus 3. Okay, yang mana this will actually give you the value is equal to exactly 1 dalam calculator. So, I'm going to write this just up to 2 decimal place because the question specifically asks me to find the answer up to 2 decimal place. So, do I need to continue? No. Please remember, we are going to stop apabila kita telah jumpa sekurang-kurangnya at least twice the same answer. So, we are going to stop after at least 2 times get same value. Okay, so dari sini I can immediately give my conclusion yang mana root of fx, root, not roof. Okay, so root of fx iaitu x is equal to 1.00. Please remember my reminder, memang 00 tu doesn't make any changes. Kalau kita tulis 1 pun boleh. Tetapi because, again, question says 2 decimal place. So, kena letak 1.00. Okay. Let's move on to question number 2. So, in this question, we have been given the info where we have an ellipse. with center at the origin, and it passes through these 2 points. Okay, so we need to find the equation and the coordinate of our foci untuk ellipse berkenaan. So we are going to start with listing out the info. I know that my center is 0, 0, and then I have 2 points yang mana the ellipses pass through these 2 points. So the points are 0, 3 as well as 1, 1. So untuk mencari equation of an ellipse, kita akan start terus dengan equation dalam bentuk standard yang mana I'm going to have. Okay, so we are going to use the formula x minus h square over a square plus y minus k square over b square, and that should be equal to 1. So in this case, I'm going to substitute h and k menggunakan center. So I'm going to have the equation x square over a square plus y square over b square, that is equal to 1. So now substituting my x and y menggunakan these 2 points. Okay, yang mana I'm going to now have at point 0, 3. I'm going to have this equation yang mana we know that 0 square divided by a square will become 0. So that one will disappear and I will be left with 9 over b square is equal to 1. So b square is equal to 9. Hence, b is equal to 3. Okay, dah dapat macam ni. Now, let's move on to the next one. I have the point 1, 1. So, the equation becomes like this. When I substitute x equals to 1, y equals to 1. Using the value of b just now, I'm going to have this is 1 over a square plus with 1 over 9 is equal to 1. So, that will become 1 over a square is equal to 1 minus with 1 over 9, that gives me 8 over 9. So to find a square, I will just take 1 over 8 over 9. That will become 9 over 8. Hence, my a is equal to 3 over 2/2. Okay, so sebenarnya you can leave the values of b square dengan a square tanpa ambil square root. Kenapa? Because we need to find the equation. So tak perlu sangat lah. Okay, so untuk dapatkan equation, hence my equation will be, so x minus 0 square, yang tu tak perlu, so x square over a saya adalah 3 over 2/2, so a square will be 9 over 8. Ditambahkan dengan y square divided by my b square is equal to 9, and that should be equal to 1. So in this case, we can actually rewrite this as, since kita ada denominator tu dalam bentuk pecahan, so I'm going to have 8x square over 9 plus y square over 9, that is equal to 1. Tetapi if you ask me, we usually leave our answer dalam bentuk ni sebab ingat we are going to compare with x minus h square over a square plus y minus k square over b square, that is equal to 1. Sebab tu kita tinggal macam ni walaupun kat bawah tu 9/8. Tapi nak selamat buat je macam ni, betulkan balik supaya tak ada pecahan dalam pecahan, and sekiranya skema only require you to stop here, then you are still going to get full mark. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part of this question where you need to find the coordinate of our foci. So ingat untuk cari coordinate of our foci, formulanya again sudah diberi di depan, so there should be no problem. Yang mana my foci will be F1. Okay, coordinate-nya adalah, since in this case 9 is greater than 9 over 8, so I know that, so we know that y changes. Okay, so in this case, since we know y changes, so my coordinate yang pada y coordinate akan berubah. Now, di sini adalah h and hence k plus c. F yang kedua adalah h, k tolak c. So, please take note, we need to find the value of our c first. You can do the working on your next part here. Right hand side, okay, yang mana ingat since b is greater than a, we know that to find c square, that is using the formula b square minus a square. So 9 minus 9 over 8, that actually gives me the value 63 over 8. So if we take the square root of this value, we are going to get decimal. So kita akan tinggalkan macam tu sahaja, yang mana c is equal to the square root of 63 over 8. Now, since you've already got your value for C, kita boleh terus cari kita punya fokus yang pertama dan yang kedua. So, F yang pertama akan jadi H kita 0. 0 plus C untuk K plus C akan jadi square root of 63/8. Untuk fokus yang kedua, we are going to get coordinate yang masih 0, tapi now k minus c, so 0 minus square root of 63/8, so that is negative third 63/8. Okay, so that will be our final answer. Okay, now let's move on to question 3. So in this question, you are given two equations of a circle, and then we need to find the equation of the tangent from point 03 to circle 2. Okay, yang mana I've already drawn my circle 2 here, and kita dah label point 03 berada di atas y-axis. Because we are going to have two different lines as in the diagram, yang hijau dan yang purple, yang mana both line passes through point 03, and they are also both a tangent to our circle 2, yang mana center untuk circle 2 is on the origin. Okay, so what we can do here adalah kita look at equation of tangent dahulu, yang mana kita tahu equation of tangent tersebut mesti pass through 03. So dari situ kita tahu menggunakan equation y equals to mx plus c, kita akan substitute saja and you get 3 is equal to 0 plus c. Hence, c is equal to 3. Dari sini kita tahu equation of tangent kita akan berada dalam bentuk y equals to mx plus 3. Okay, kita tak dapat lagi equation complete sebab kita tak tahu the gradient is either something yang positif atau something yang negatif ikut garisan lah, sama ada purple atau hijau. What we can do here adalah, now we are going to substitute this equation into the equation of our circle here. Kenapa? Because at this point and at this point, those two equations, sama ada equation purple dengan equation circle atau equation hijau dengan equation circle, must have the same value. So I'm going to substitute this equation into equation of circle, yang mana that will give me x square plus y square is mx plus 3 square, and that is equal to 1. Okay, setelah itu we are going to expand and solve untuk mencari nilai m. So if I expand here, I'm going to get x square plus m square x square plus 6mx plus 9 minus 1 is equal to 0. And from here saya akan dapat x square faktorkan keluar, and di depan saya akan dapat 1 plus m square ditambahkan dengan 6mx plus 8 is equal to 0. So from here I can identify a. So why do I take this value out? Jawapannya adalah untuk kita gantikan ke dalam discriminant. So in this case, please remember we have one concept, iaitu discriminant must be equal to 0 since this line yang kita consider is a tangent line. Kenapa? Because they touch each other, so this sort of macam ada one root. Jadi kita akan tahu b square minus 4ac should be equal to 0 if it is a tangent line. Okay, so from there what we can do here adalah I'm going to just substitute that into discriminant formula, yang mana I know that I'm going to have 6m squared minus 4 times a, which is 1 plus m squared, times c itu 8, and that should be equal to 0. So I have 36m squared minus 32 minus 32 m squared, that is equal to 0. So solving that, I'm going to have 4m squared is equal to 32, m squared is equal to 8. So m adalah bersamaan dengan square root of 8. Don't forget kita akan ada plus atau minus. So daripada situ, now can I find my equation of tangent? Jawapannya yes, using this equation just now. So my equation of tangent will be, the first one adalah y is equal to square root 8x tambah 3. And the second one akan jadi y sama dengan negative square root 8x tambah 3. As for question 4, kalau kita tengok you are given the points A, B and C, yang mana these 3 points lie on your plane pie. So a line L passes through the point P and Q. So find AB cross AC. Kita tengok dahulu maklumat satu persatu. So AB dan C should be somewhere here. With A adalah, let's say A di sini, B is here and C is here. So apa yang the question asks you to do adalah, untuk soalan A, dia suruh cari AB cross with AC. So this is my vector AB, this is vector AC. So bila kita nak cross kan, ingat apa yang kita kena buat. I need to find AB and AC first. So to find AB and AC, what I should do first adalah use the definition AB should be equal to OB minus with OA, yang mana OB sebenarnya adalah 3 negative 1, 6 from the given question. Ditolakkan dengan OA adalah position vector of point A, iaitu 1, 3 and 2. So just subtract this mengikut komponen I, J dan K. We are going to get 2, negative 4 and 4. Okay. So one thing that I need to remind you adalah untuk vector, kita ada beberapa cara untuk tulis. So sama ada you tulis dalam bentuk macam ni. So let's say A, B, C. Ataupun you can also write dalam bentuk AI plus VJ plus CK. Ataupun you can also write dalam bentuk kolom vektor yang mana kita ada A, B and C. So tolong jangan tertukar seperti yang diberi dalam soalan. This is actually coordinate in 3 dimension. Okay, so now dah siap macam tu. I'm going to move on to the next one, iaitu finding vector Ilan is the position vector of point C. Jadi 5, 2, 0. Ditolakkan dengan OA adalah 1, 3, 2. So if you calculate this, you are going to get the vector AC adalah 4, negative 1, negative 2. Setelah itu, we need to find the cross product between AB and AC. So AB cross with AC, tolong ingat what is the definition of cross product. So kita akan guna determinant of 3 by 3. So I have I, J and K di sini. Setelah itu, kita akan masukkan dahulu, since AB is the first one, AB will be on the second row, iaitu 2, negative 4, 4. And then next, I'm going to have AC, iaitu 4, negative 1, negative 2. So please remember, working for this one, you will have to show lah. Saya suggest untuk show. Because if you... Baju apa? Baju apa ni? Memang bukan ironless brand apa? Kenapa? Sebab aku tengok label, ya tak nampak dia jawab. Kau tu Kak Amy cakap, bukan Sabrina. Aku cakap Sabrina sebab Kainan. Tak ada, tanya je. Jawab. Mana tahu? Kau tahu ke apa tu? Tak ada. Bukanlah dah tu jawapan. Kau macam... ya kan ada bentuk. Okay, apa? Okay, jadi kita juga. Link ni pun. So you are going to get the simplified answer adalah 12i plus 20j plus 14k. That will be the result of AB cross with AC. So next, please take a look at the question properly. Dia kata hence, menggunakan apa yang you dah cari tadi, please obtain an equation for the plane pi in Cartesian form. Okay, so to find equation of plane, please remember, kita akan dapat menggunakan formula R dot n is equal to A dot n. So n will be your normal vector. AB cross with AC. That is your normal vector. So E. So apa yang kita akan buat now adalah just gantikan sahaja di sini. So R kekal sebagai R, atau please remember we need to find Cartesian equation. So we are going to change that menjadi X, Y, Z representing R dot with my X 14Z that is equal to 100. So make sure you do simplify your answer. In this case, we can divide everything by 2. So kita akan dapat jawapan akhir adalah 6X plus 10Y plus 7Z that is equal to 50. So that is the Cartesian equation of your plane. As for question B, we have been told earlier that a line L passes through point P and Q given the coordinate of point P and Q. So kita diminta untuk mencari the parametric equation of the line L. So untuk mencari parametric equation of line L, apa yang kita akan buat di sini adalah first please remember kita nak cari parametric equation. So equationnya dalam bentuk X is equal to 2A2 plus PV2. Z is Z je. And then A1, A2 and A3 is any one point yang berada di parallel to line. Okay, so to get the vector parallel to your line, now you kena tengok di sini. If that is my line, the vector parallel to the line should be somewhat like anak panah warna merah tu. So from there, I can use the vector PQ as my vector parallel to the line. So I need to find vector PQ first. Hence, PQ is equal to OQ minus with OP. Okay, so daripada sini kita akan dapat OQ adalah kosong satu empat, and then ditolakkan dengan OP iaitu 122. So the question asks us untuk soalan C to find the point of intersection between the line L yang kita cari dalam soalan B dengan the plane pi yang kita dah cari dalam soalan A tadi. So untuk kita cari begini, what we can do is we can recall that equation of plane 1 minus T kita dah ganti. Now we can find the value of P. So just expand and selesaikan. So from your working, lepas kita expand susun semula, make sure you kumpulkan T di sebelah kiri. No. Nanti mata dia. So big Isi table based on, tengok balik ke sini ada simbol sama dengan, sebab tu saya ambil nilai 2, 3, 4 dan 5. So we are going to create in the table. Capital F(x) untuk x sama dengan 2 adalah 1/5, and then x is equal to 3 adalah 8/15, and then saya ada di sini 4/5, and last adalah 1. Please take note, this is my CDF. So how do I find my PDF? Memang tak perlu, tapi kita cari je. Okay, so dari sini 1 tolak 4/5 will give me 1/5. 4/5 minus 8/15 will give me kita akan dapat 4/15 and continue je buat. Okay, so I've completed my table. Now let's take a look at soalan A. So in question A, you are asked to find the probability that, okay, A1, kita nak cari probability that x is less than or equal to 3. So please remember, this is actually the definition of our cumulative function, iaitu capital F of 3. So F of 3, kita akan buat apa? Kita akan baca sahaja dari table. So nilai 3, ini adalah F of 3. So F of 3 kita akan jadi bersamaan dengan 8/15. Okay, next untuk soalan yang kedua, kita diminta untuk cari probability that x is less than 3. So, bila probability x less than 3, yang ni you kena ingat, by definition sekali lagi, since this is discrete random variable, that is just probability x less than or equal to 3 tolakkan dengan 1. So, probability x less than or equal to 2 adalah f of 2. So, f of 2 again, baca daripada table, kita akan dapat jawapannya adalah 1/5. Okay, so this is just 1/5. Untuk soalan yang seterusnya, iaitu soalan yang ketiga. So, di sini kita diminta untuk cari probability x is equal to 3. So, this is why I use my table, supaya now kita tak payah mengira. You nak buat pengiraan pun boleh, yang mana which is just f of 3 minus f of 2. So, by using this, we know earlier that 8/15 ditolakkan dengan 1/5. So, the answer here will be equal to 1/3. So, if you ask me, my alternative will be referring to my table. Sebab tu kita buat table to the first step. So, bila nak probability x sama dengan 3, that is here. So, x is less than or equal to 4 ditolakkan dengan probability that x is less than or equal to 2, iaitu nilainya 4/5. So 4/5 ditolakkan dengan f of 2 adalah 1/5. So jawapan kita adalah 3/5. So di sini juga kita ada alternatif. So the alternative here adalah instead 3/5. So another reason kenapa saya buat terus untuk mencari table, cari PDF, jawapannya sebab untuk soalan B kita diminta untuk sketch the graph. So please take note, graph mana yang kita nak. We have been given a question from topic 9 yang mana kita ada continuous random variable. Okay, so untuk continuous random variable di sini represents the lifespan in months of a certain type of bulb with the probability density function. So please take note kita diberi PDF. Okay, so small f bukan lagi in term of t, bukan lagi in term of x, tetapi now in term of t. So f of t is equal to 1 over 4 at cube untuk t from 0 to 2 and 0 is for otherwise where a given is a constant. So we need to find the value of a. Cara untuk mencari di sini adalah from the fact that we know the integral of f of t dt from negative infinity until positive infinity, that should be equal to 1. Okay, so daripada sini apa yang kita boleh buat adalah we can just separate this. So you know the integral from negative infinity to 0 of f of t dt, which is the function is 0, added with integral from 0 to 2 of 1 over 4 at cube dt ditambahkan dengan integral from 2 to infinity of f of t dt, that is equal to 1, and kita tahu that this one will be 0, this one will also be 0. So we can just solve the one in the middle, yang mana if you integrate here, you are going to get 1 over 4 outside, since that's a constant, and then we are going to get a can also be taken outside because we have been given a is a constant, and then we integrate t cube, you are going to get t power of 4 divided by 4, the limit is from 0 to 2 and that should be equal to 1. Daripada sini what we can do is you can take out the constant ataupun terus substitute limit. So if you solve, you are going to get something like this, yang mana kita boleh simplify saja. 16 over 16 is equal to 1. So A is also equal to 1. Dah dapat nilai A seperti yang diminta dalam soalan A. Now we are going to move on to question B, yang mana the question specifically asks for you to find the expected value of T as well as the variance of T. So in this case, start dengan expected value of T dahulu. Okay, so to find the expected value of T, since T is our random variable, now please remember the formula. We are going to integrate from negative infinity to infinity of T multiplied by small f of T dt. Okay, so dari sini kita ada satu interval sahaja from 0 to 2. And if you recall, this is actually our PDF. So we know that I have 1 over 4 t cube untuk t from 0 to 2 and 0 otherwise. So what I can do here is just integrate. Macam tadi juga, we are going to separate the working. So integral from negative infinity to infinity of t multiplied by ft untuk kawasan ini adalah 0 dt. So ditambahkan dengan integral from 0 to 2 of t multiplied by 1 over 4 t cube dt. Ditambahkan dengan integral from 2 to infinity of t times 0 dt. So again, we know that the first part will become 0. The third part is also 0. So you can just integrate the one in the middle. Yang mana in the middle, if you integrate here, please make sure you simplify first. This is actually equal to the integral from 0 to 2 of 1 over 4 t power of 4 dt. So I can take the constant outside. 1 over 4 will be taken outside. And integrating t power of 4 will become t power of 5 over 5. Limit from 0 to 2, and that gives me 1 over 4. Dalam kurungan, we are going to get 2 power of 5 over 5 minus with 0. So if you simplify this, this actually gives you 8 over 5, ataupun you can also change to decimal. This is 1.6. So selesai untuk expected value of t. Now next adalah kita perlu cari variance of t. Tetapi please remember the formula untuk variance of t is actually variance t is equal to expected value of t square minus expected value of t kurungan square. So kita kena cari expected value of t square dahulu. Okay, so the expected value of t square menggunakan cara yang sama. This is just the integral from negative infinity to infinity. But now we are going to multiply t square with f of t dt. So di sini again, just like earlier, we are going to have integral negative infinity to 0 of t square times 0 dt plus integral from 0 to 2 of t square times 1 over 4 t cube dt plus integral from 2 to infinity of t squared times 0 dt. If you simplify this, you are going to have something like what I have on my final line di situ, yang mana kita ada 1/4 darab dengan T kuasa 6/6 with the limit from 0 to 2. Okay, so dari sini we can just simplify the value and find your answer. And once you substitute the value of the limit, kira kita akan dapat jawapan untuk expected value of T square is 8/3. So daripada sini, we can just proceed with whatever the question asks for, iaitu variance of T. Yang mana to find the variance of T, what we are going to use adalah formula yang saya dah tulis di tepi tadi. Okay, so variance of T is equal to expected value of T square subtract with expected value of T bracket square. So di sini kita tahu nilai di sini adalah 8/3 minus with the value that I get earlier is 8/5 square, don't forget. And if you calculate this, the answer that you are going to get is 8/75. Okay, selesai untuk soalan B. Now let's move on to question C. Yang mana now you are given that, dia tak sebut perkataan given tapi dia bagi terus, X is 3/7T plus 1. So we need to determine the expected value of X dan juga variance of X. So macam mana kita nak buat di sini? You have to remember the properties. Okay, yang mana we know X is equal to 3/7T plus 1. And to find the expected value of X, this is actually 3/7. Sorry, expected value of 3/7T plus 1. And using the properties, I know this is just 3/7 times the expected value of T plus 1. So use the value that you get earlier, 3/7 multiplied by 8/5 plus 1, that is equal to, kita akan dapat jawapan kita di sini bersamaan dengan 59/35. Okay, as for the variance, now kita nak cari variance of X. That is just finding the variance of 3/7T plus 1. So again, using the properties, we know that di sini kita akan dapat 3/7 square multiplied by the variance of T, yang mana again kita telah pun kira. So 3/7 bracket square multiplied by variance of T just now is 8/75. So we are going to get the answer untuk variance of X adalah 24/1225. Okay, selesai. Finally, let's move on to question 7, yang mana for question A here, in any large shipment of watermelons from a particular orchard, it is known that 2% are unripe. So daripada info yang diberi di sini, 2% are unripe, that is probability kita. Okay, so probability of success. From there, you are going to get P is equal to 2%, which is just 0.02. Sorry, 0.02. Okay, so now upon arrival of a shipment at a receiving depot, random samplings with replacements are conducted. Okay, with replacements. So calculate the probability of getting at most 1 unripe watermelon in a sample size of 20. So in this case, you are given N is equal to 20. So from here, I can let X be the number of unripe watermelon. And daripada sini, apa yang saya boleh buat adalah I can say that X follows a binomial distribution with N is equal to 20 and P adalah 0.02. So dari sini, now let's take a look at the question. Find the probability of getting at most 1 unripe watermelon. So from this sentence, what we know is kita nak paling banyak satu, at most 1. So we are going to get that is just the probability that X is less than or equal to 1. Okay, so finding the probability X is less than or equal to 1, please remember from the table kita tak boleh baca ke kiri. So we are going to change this using 1 minus probability that X is greater than or equal to 2. Because kita nak 1 is included. So yang next one yang kita tolak adalah 2 lah. So from this case, you are going to be able to read from the table. 1 remains there and probability X greater than or equal to 2 will be 0.0599 from your table. And then just calculate, you are going to get the answer is 0.9401. Untuk soalan yang kedua, Okay, look at question 2 Roman. Approximate the probability of getting 1 to 3 unripe watermelons in a sample size of 50. Okay, so di sini, soalan ini sebenarnya already out of your syllabus. So we are going to just ignore question 2 because this is out of syllabus. Okay, so for question 2, okay, you don't have to answer that question. Still, I can explain if you want, but since it is out of your syllabus, I won't explain in this video. You can reach out to me untuk tahu macam nak jawab soalan ini. Okay? So moving on to question 7b, it is known that the distance in meters that a ball can be thrown by a student at a particular school follows a normal distribution. So the keyword here sudah diberi, it's normal distribution. Okay, with mean adalah 3.5 and the standard deviation is 1.16. So the school will give trophy to students who throw the ball 10% further from a specified distance. So from that, kita keluarkan dahulu maklumat. So from the information, I know that X is distance thrown. Okay, so I know that X follows a normal distribution with mean 3.5 and my variance is 1.16 square. So daripada sini, now kita tengok soalan yang pertama yang mana you have been told obtain the distance that must be thrown for the student to qualify for the trophy. Okay, so dari sini kita kena refer kepada maklumat di atas ini yang mana the school give trophy to student who throw the ball 10% further from a specified distance. So that specified distance adalah berapa yang kita nak cari. Okay. So dari sini kita tahu probability-nya adalah 0.1. So we are going to just translate that for question B1. Finding the probability that X exceed a certain distance. So let's say the distance adalah K and the probability adalah 0.1. Probability dia qualify untuk trophy. Okay, so dari sini apa yang kita boleh buat adalah first you need to remember this is just a normal distribution. Our table is for normal distribution yang sudah pun kita standardize, standard normal. So we have to standardize here using the formula that we have, that is Z is equal to X minus mu over sigma, which is our standard deviation. So from there I have probability that, now I have Z on my left hand side, sebelah kanan I have K minus my mean, which is 3.5 divided by my sigma, bukan lagi 1.16 square tapi hanya 1.16. So the probability should still remain as 0.1. Now kita akan baca daripada table. So compare with table. Look for the value that gives you 0.1. Okay, so daripada table normal kita, looking for the probability 0.1 and read the Z score, you are going to have the probability that Z is greater than or equal to 1.2816. That actually gives you 0.1. So setelah itu, now what we are going to do is we are going to just compare this and this one. Okay, compare these two. Yang mana that tells me, K is equal to, K minus 3.5 over 1.16, that is equal to 1.2816. So by using standard algebra yang you dah belajar, kita akan dapat K is equal to approximately equal to 4.99, yang mana from there kita boleh assume K mesti sama dengan 5. Okay, so dari sini kita telah pun jumpa the distance that must be thrown untuk student tersebut qualify for the trophy adalah 5 meters. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. Question 2, obtain the percentage. So please take note, we need to find percentage, peratus, that the distance is between 3 meter and 3.9 meter if a throw is chosen at random. So masih lagi normal distribution seperti yang diberi. Tapi now take note perkataan between. Maksudnya tiada equal to. X is greater than 3 but less than 3.9. Okay, so let's answer question 2. Untuk di sini, soalan minta finding probability X is greater than 3 but less than 3.9. Jadi, apa yang kita kena buat masih sama macam tadi. We are going to have to standardize, which gives me this is probability that 3 minus 3.5 over 1.16 is less than Z less than 3.9 minus 3.5 divide by 1.16. Okay, so getting my Z score here, I'm going to have probability that on my left hand side is negative 0.43 less than Z less than on my right hand side 0.34. So, untuk case ini, your region yang kita nak cari probability adalah in between those two green lines pada saya punya bell shape diagram. Okay, so from there kita nak yang di tengah-tengah. So we have to reject sebelah kanan dan sebelah kiri. That actually tells me I have to use 1 minus. Yang di sebelah kanan adalah probability that Z is greater than 0.34. Ditolakkan dengan yang di sebelah kiri. Kita tak boleh baca. So we are going to use the fact that we know they are symmetrical. So that is just the value from probability Z is greater than 0.43. So just substitute the value. You are going to get this is just 1 minus, read from the table, this is 0.3669 minus 0.3336. And your final answer should be 0.2995. However, this is not the final answer yet because the question says you need to find the percentage. So, to find percentage, apa yang kita buat? Kita akan multiply with 100. Okay, so when you multiply with 100%, kita akan dapat apa? Di sini kita akan dapat 0.2995 times 100, that is just 29.95%. Okay, thank you. Done with set J. So, untuk question 3, okay, 3B, section B nombor 3. So, di sini again kita diberi two circles with the equation as follow. Dua-dua adalah general equation. And the question says to find the equation of another circle, C3, yang mana this circle passes through points negative 50 and the points of intersection of C1 and C2. So, the first step here is for you to be able to identify what is the point of intersection between C1 and C2. Okay, so cara untuk menjawab soalan di sini adalah we are going to have to solve simultaneous equation between these two first, yang mana certain student prefer to use simultaneous equation, but if you ask me, then I would use elimination. From the first equation, I have x squared plus y squared minus 2x minus 2y plus 1 is equal to 0. Next, my second equation is x squared plus y squared minus 1 is equal to 0. So, using the subtraction operation, okay, I'm going to subtract these two equations and I will have x squared minus x squared will disappear, y squared minus y squared will also disappear. Negative 2x minus 0 is still negative 2x. Negative 2y is still negative 2y. 1 minus negative 1, that is plus 1. So that is positive 2 is equal to 0. So if I rearrange this, I'm going to have the equation of common chord that connects the two point of intersection. So I'm going to use 2y and move that to my right hand side. I will have 2y is equal to 2 minus 2x. Yang mana from there I can simplify y is equal to 1 minus x. So daripada sini, what I'm going to do now adalah I'm going to label that as my third equation. So this is the equation of common chord that I'm going to use later on in solving and finding the coordinates of the point of intersection. So we are going to substitute this equation into any of the two circle equations. So obviously I'm going to choose the simpler one, iaitu C2. Okay, substituting equation 3 into equation 2, that will give me x square kekal plus y square will be substituted with 1 minus x. So 1 minus x square, that is equal to 1. So dari sini, I'm going to have to expand this. x square remains the same, plus 1 minus 2x plus x square minus 1, that is equal to 0. So dari sini, I'm going to have 2x square minus 2x, and then 1 minus 1 is 0, so that is equal to 0. And then I can just factorize 2x from here, so 2x multiplied by x minus 1, that is equal to 0. Hence, I get x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 1. So, dah dapat macam ni. Now, I can use this value to find the y coordinate, yang mana I'm going to substitute these values of x into my equation nombor 3. And I'm going to have when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. When x is equal to 1, y is equal to 0. So, from here, my point of intersection adalah 0, 1 as well as 1, 0. Please make sure you write in coordinate form sebab kita nak gunakan semula untuk mencari equation of circle. So, now let's move on to find equation of the third circle. So, equation of C3, yang mana C3 pass through 0, 1 and 1, 0, as well as the third point adalah the one given in the question, iaitu negative 5, 0. Okay, so we are going to substitute one by one here. I'm going to use general equation sebab soalan tak sebut dia nak equation of circle dalam bentuk apa. So, usually we are going to give the answer dalam bentuk general. Okay, hence, I'm going to use the formula where we have x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c that is equal to 0. So, dari sini apa yang kita akan buat adalah kita akan gantikan sahaja. For the first point, I'm going to use negative 5, 0. That gives me negative 5 square plus 0 square plus 2g times negative 5 plus 2f times 0 plus c that is equal to 0. Okay, so we are going to simplify this. This one becomes 0. This one will disappear as well. So I will have here negative 10g plus c that is equal to negative 25. Okay, that is my new first equation. Untuk this part je tak ada berkait dengan yang atas. Untuk simultaneous equation, so that is my first equation. Next, substitute point 0, 1. I'm going to have 0 square plus 1 square plus 2g0 plus 2f1 plus c is equal to 0. Okay, so we are going to simplify this. This disappears. This also disappears. So I'm going to have 2f plus c is equal to negative 1. So that is my second equation. And for the third point, I have 1, 0. Okay, you are going to have to substitute and then simplify yang mana disappear. You are going to get the equation 2g plus c is equal to negative 1. So from these three equation, untuk nak selamat, then I would suggest you, we are going to change. This is equation 4, 5 and 6. Takut you confused dengan 1, 2, 3 yang atas. So, from those three equation, you can solve manually and I would suggest that. Tetapi, sekiranya you nak cepat, nak jimat masa, what you can do is you can use your calculator and tekan sahajalah solving simultaneous equation with three unknowns. I'm going to show you the long working here, the manual working. Tapi guna calculator tu, I believe everyone dah boleh guna. So, since I have GC dalam ni, and GC dalam ini, what I'm going to do is I'm going to somehow eliminate C tersebut. Okay. So, dari sini, I'm going to take equation 4 minus with equation 6 minus equation 4. So, that will give me C dengan C akan eliminate each other since I'm going to use subtraction. And 2 tolak negatif 10 is just adding. So, 12G. Di sebelah kanan juga tambah. So, I have equal to 24. So, G is equal to 2. Setelah kita dapat G is equal to 2, now I'm going to find the value of C untuk bantu kita cari nilai F. Okay, so to find C, I'm going to use equation 6 because that is simpler. So, we are going to substitute G is equal to 2 into equation 6, which gives me 2 times 2 plus C is equal to negative 1. So, C is equal to negative 5. Okay, so since I've already got the value for C, I can find F using the fifth equation, equation 5, yang mana I'm going to just substitute C is equal to negative 5 into equation 5. So equation 5 is 2F plus C, which is negative 5, is equal to negative 1. So 2F is equal to 4, hence F is equal to 2. So selesai di sini, I've already got G, C, and F. What we are going to do is not leave like that, not leaving your answer like that, but we are going to have to write the final answer, yang mana the equation of the circle is what the question asks for. So we have x squared plus y squared plus 2gx will become 4x plus 2fy will become 4y plus c is negative 5 is equal to 0.